Hello, welcome to Ether Cosmology sound check. Yeah, it looks like audio is good here for my microphone. I am currently deafened on the chat, but tonight we are just hanging out, and Alan is currently rolling his intro. I'll probably do a second intro in just a second here, but I just didn't want the dead air. And until then, we'll probably have some chatting here, but we're just hanging out, and feel free to come join us on the Discord server. You can find us at discord.gg/ethercosmology, or just go to ethercosmology.com, click on the Discord icon. But yeah, without further ado, I'll go ahead and unmute the bass here, or on deafen rather. Yo, I'm live here on my setup. I'll do a formal introduction when Alan unmutes. But yeah.
A formal introduction.
I guess so, yeah. Something like that, right?
I
already kind of
practice his movie announcer professional career.
Yep.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mr. Reed. Nice to meet you all.
What is Alan's new intro now? Is it Stone's thing? Lots and Long Stone?
I have no idea, actually. I think it's just a bunch of dead air, and then, all right, Toby, we are live.
I think it's Toby. It was Toby music, and then it was Stone music.
All right, we're live, gentlemen.
There he is. Yo, hello, everybody. Welcome to Ether Cosmology, or really just us hanging out on the Discord server. Tonight is just an open chat. Typically, or in the past, we've done a lot of these on Twitter, and I just figured tonight we would kind of do it over here where we tend to actually hang out more on the Discord server, or at least classically hung out more, I guess you could say. And it would be kind of just a little bit more chill, but not really any major expectations for the evening, just kind of a live stream. So yeah, that's all. What's up, everybody?
Mister, I expect you to have something prepared. Did you not have your statement ready? Come on, man. Show's on you.
I mean,
we sent the limousine and everything, mister.
What up, my bizzle nizzle, Alan?
What's up,
Ruhif's here. We tried to hide him, but no. Hey, everyone.
keep him in the back.
Eric, I've got to slide into your DMs later about GPS. I'll do that later.
Yes, Ruhif needs some help with his calculations, and we recommended your math skills. we offered you up.
Yeah. Ruhif said GPS, and I served you up. I was like, Eric's got you. He'll know what to do.
Dang, did I give the impression like I had big plans tonight?
Kind of. So I kind of wanted to follow up on the global warming thing you did presentation. Yeah? That was an awesome prez. So many people reached out and was like, "Yo, great information, great subject. I haven't seen anyone talk about it and whatnot." So that was awesome. And I wanted to see, like, if we run out of stuff to talk about, we could watch a couple of those videos, like the greenhouse effect video.
I'd definitely be down for
or whatever.
If we got nothing else going, I'm definitely down to watch some of those. Yeah, that guy's stuff was a lot more in depth than my video was. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's pretty profound how corrupt it is. It's not even a real thing. It's just made up. They use a flat Earth model to perpetuate it, where the sun is hitting the Earth, at all, 24/7, 365, like the entirety of the Earth. So, just to get the numbers to even look like they do what they're doing. We'll get into that in a little bit.
Which one do you talk about? Global cooling, climate change, global warming.
Yeah, Toby did a presentation on it, but like, was your intention with that video to gaslight my own soul? I felt like I was doing it, and that it was really effective.
Was it the baby polar bear? I think was a really strong part.
Yes,
dude. Emotional overtone, bro. The emotional affect.
They were like, it died trying to swim to safety. I came off mic to go.
It couldn't find any. It couldn't find any. It just died, just swimming.
And the crying Indian.
I was
So
like, why
what
do I
is-
feel guilty?
Toby, what is your actual stance though on this quote unquote climate change? Like, where do you?
Well, that the science is clear. I don't know if you've seen or heard.
I think it's really insanely hubristic to think that we should know what the climate quote unquote should be. If there is anything that's going wonky, it's probably got a lot to do with them getting a little too rambunctious with weather manipulation, and that's probably having, negative effects, certain areas that should be receiving precipitation that aren't, or all the dams that were created, even that, that affects moisture distribution. That got brought up last week. I thought that was a really, really good point. Moisture distribution would play heavily into weather patterns.
Like the good old all of a sudden there's a dust bowl. Don't worry about the 92,000 dams that sprung up at the same time the year before.
Yeah, but then also I still liked the example of the Dust Bowl, and the even better I think is the one from the 1840s or whenever it was, because it's like literally like, oh, it keeps raining here. This is awesome. We can grow crops here. Let's all move in. Like everyone move out west. Go start your farm, build your home, start a homestead. And then all of a sudden it just stops raining for like 9 years. It's just like, oh, yep, that's what happens. The climate changes and you're effed. Like, yeah, people literally just starved because it just stopped raining.
See, now that was definitely man-made. Then they're like, here's what we're going to do. We're going to dam up all the water. We're going to tell them that it's their fault. They don't have the water. And then it's like, okay.
And then,
is there like a few companies that controlled most of these dams?
Good question.
Yeah, we don't know. It's a good one.
Yeah, we'll have to do a dam investigation.
Somebody will have to look into this instead of just speculating wildly like we're doing now.
I'm too curious.
Damn it.
Damn it. Damn it. That's what you need to call it.
Somebody's listen, in order to understand this, one of my friends is gonna have to give me a 200 slide presentation on it, or I'm just gonna have no hope. So who wants to do it? Kembo, how you doing, buddy?
You can make it fancy too and call it Damsel. The hidden truth. It's all about dams.
Obviously, whatever it is, you got to add the hidden truth. That's how you make presentations. Like, what do you do?
Yep.
Dude, the other thing is the
magnetic field.
The magnetic field started moving really fast in recent years. And, I mean, if the climate is changing a lot in recent years, or more than normal, quote unquote, which is already a crazy assertion to be making, but if it were moving more than normal, quote unquote, and the magnetic field happens to be moving more than normal, well, then, that could certainly play into it, like, so it's kind of just, I think the climate is going to change, always has changed, always will change. I think that the carbon dioxide thing is kind of a hilarious thing to get obsessed about because as me and Stone were talking about during the last presentation, it's, there's self-correcting mechanisms built in into the Earth system that will equalize. As the CO2 goes up, plants will grow more and they'll output more oxygen. Right. And so it's just, the whole thing is just, it's a perfect control mechanism, and it's a lot easier than wars. You just literally tell everyone we're waging war against our own existence. So there you go.
Well, you think it's cyclical? I think it's just cyclical.
Yeah,
like
probably.
It's cyclical in nature, right? Like these cycles happen all the time. And the people in power know about these cycles, and they know exactly what land will be affected by these cycles. And they just basically play Monopoly and reset the board. Like that's what makes
something like that going on. Yeah.
It's like, why are they building infrastructure all in Africa right now? Right. Like right there, like building it for like 2050, 2060.
Could be. Yeah.
It's like if you go back in time, it's like Sahara Desert used to be lush. It's like maybe there is a cyclical nature to it. Who knows?
I mean, certainly could be, especially, Sahara Desert used to be lush. Like, you look at stories of like the Nile Valley and stuff. Sounds like it used to be pretty different.
Yeah, I don't know. It would only make sense too if we were in some type of vortex. You would have some type of precession.
Yeah, I think so too. That makes sense to me too.
So I don't know, maybe climate change and global cooling is just like they just know when these cycles are happening, capitalize on the fear, create legislation to propel the people into accepting it, and then now it's like a new form of control.
That sounds crazy.
So the Sahara Desert, the Gobi, even our deserts, they're deserts because of their lack of water. But the Sahara Desert, if you go back to the 1600s, and you look at records and you look at maps, it was nowhere near the size that it is. But the British started clear cutting, the French started clear cutting, the Spanish started clear cutting. They were clear cutting because the lumber from there was excellent for the wood ships of the time. That continued all the way into the early 1900s, and then of course, steel ships became a thing. But that lumber was also still being clear cut well into the 1970s before the environmentalists, went a little crazy. Like, look at what you're doing, because the Sahara started spreading at staggering rates from the 70s onwards, because all of the rainforests of that area had been clear cut to nothing. That area used to look a lot different, even back in the 1950s, 1960s, because there's pictures of it, aerial reconnaissance photos and everything of Africa. It's been torn to hell and back by industrialization.
Okay.
Yeah, that's another big point. Like, how much does all of the crazy construction and terrorization of the environment that we do play into all of it? I mean, like, you look at Haiti, they took all the trees down and it just destroyed the entire island, or the whole half of the island, basically.
Wait, what?
Yeah, they some corporation moved in and essentially like deforested the island, or their half of the island essentially, and then pieced out. And then
shit.
That's my understanding of.
Dude, what the heck? You can just do that?
Yeah.
Just buy an island, drain it, and dip.
Dude, a lot of those Caribbean islands are not.
I drink your milkshake.
Dude, for real.
They are not fond of America and American politicians down there.
Are you sure that it's not just that we're dirty sinners and that we're always paying the government more money that that'll make it better? And are you sure that's not the case, guys?
I was told that if we start getting everyone to pay them a little more, that I could.
We would lay off the geoengineering and we'd have better weather again.
Well, it did work. It did work in California with the grid.
Shit, dude.
We do have an example of that working.
Yep, they got it just so that everyone had to lose power for a little bit.
Just so we can apply the pressure on your neck. Look, it doesn't do us good if we take the boot off your neck, so we're just gonna keep it there. I mean, don't worry about it.
What kind of boot do you want on your neck?
Yeah, it could be a
What do you like?
black
Do you like
boot.
pink?
You want a red boot or a blue boot? Yeah, you get to choose.
Do you want an eco-friendly boot? Is that what you want?
You want a funny boot, or you want a boot that's
Look, it's a LGBTQI plus boot.
It's an economy size boot on your neck. Not yours at Macy's. Like, it's crazy. Yeah, the entire grid can't sustain all the EVs that are being forced down people's throats there, and then now they're creating a new tax on people who switch to EVs because they're not making enough money on gas tax.
Dude, the whole thing is insane.
I like how all the electric cars are mined from batteries that been from cobalt that the Biden family happens to own in one of those third world countries that got it was a cobalt mining thing. So they ridiculously circle jerk to get the government funding to mine the things, to pay it up, to blow it up, to adhere you to the car, to take it away, to take it to.
No, it's ridiculous, dude. I don't know.
And then they fund themselves the whole time with your money, and then they buy themselves bricks with the proceeds from the money that they use to enslave you. Dude, it's the weirdest circle jerk.
Hey, fun fact about the Haiti, along with the deforestation, there was a lot of gold mining as well as offshore drilling for oil, which they struck a lot. And coincidentally, a lot of the American companies who were tied into it just kind of like jacked all of it. Right, it was like 90% over to America. And along that around 2016, around the election, um, a lot of people were exposing the Clintons and Tony Rodham, who owned the oil rigs and was in heat. They talked about a lot of the child trafficking, coincidentally, happened around the Clinton Foundation coming into Haiti. And I don't know if he had to go, but Tony Rodham died coincidentally around that time. So, yeah, there was a lot of hijacking of natural resources in Haiti.
Yep.
It was just his time to go.
And a lot of missing children. I heard that was just like probably unrelated. Wherever the Clintons go, it's like, where are all the children to go? People are like, yeah, I don't know.
Coincidence, quite a coincidence.
Oh, let's start a foundation to try and find them.
Yeah. Just want to give donations to help find your children fund? Jeez.
Hey, I'm driving right now, so I'm sorry if the background noise is really bad, but I want to speak to two things. One of those things that Xavier just brought up. So I live in Utah, and right outside of Salt Lake City, there is the Kennecott Copper Mine, which is one of the two things that you can apparently see if you're in space. So Ruhif, when you get a trip, you get to be able to look for that in the, in Utah area. You'll be able to see the copper mine, but the amount of toxins that the mining has caused in the local area in the soil, like they've recently tried to build new homes and everything on it, and the soil is so fucking riddled with toxins that no one's able to even grow trees in that area. So when you talk about the effects from man, like mining is a huge one, and then they take the fluoride and then they put it in your water, which has got to be good for you too. But I was going to ask if anyone has seen the documentary, the geoengineering documentary. It's more of a horror film than anything, but have any of you guys watched that geoengineering documentary?
The Dimming?
Yeah, The Dimming. That's what it's called.
Never heard of it.
I got a question
Never.
about the copper mine.
Yeah, dude.
I'm curious. Process of the mining? What process is causing the toxicity?
I have no idea, but I just know that all of the surrounding lands, all of the soil is completely it's just completely dead. It's toxic. You can't grow. Like, people are having really big issues. They built a bunch of homes out there, and they made like a little suburbia, and
you ever heard of Centralia?
Huh?
Have you ever heard of Centralia, Pennsylvania? Centralia.
No, I have not.
Oh man! So all over the world.
I heard that last week. What's Centralia?
Yeah, so Centralia is a underground coal mine that is on fire and has been on fire since 1990 something, late 90s. It caught on fire. The whole town's been abandoned. There's a really cool road that goes into it where people go down there and they write, messages in chalk on it and everything. But the whole town's abandoned. You can't live there. Eventually it's going to collapse in on itself, but it is not the only mine of that nature. It's just the largest one in North America that's on fire. I went one day, I found out what it was back in 2016. I did a dive and I found out there are hundreds all over the world of these coal mines that have been, they can't put them out either. There's no way to put them out. They're just burning.
No kidding. Hundreds of places that are just on fire.
I know they do that with like a lot of the natural gas leaks. They'll just like start the fire, they'll set the flame, and it's like, yep, that's just gonna burn because there's natural gas leaking. Yeah.
They didn't mean for these coal veins to catch on fire. The thing about the coal is it doesn't require oxygen, so it burns underground, deep underground.
Well, yeah, it just smolders, but. Yeah, of course they didn't want that. The whole town's economy was based off that coal mine. Of course they didn't want that to happen.
We have a whole lot of coal mines in central Utah where I live now. I mean, that's where the majority of men work, is in the coal mines. And I know that they've had problems with collapses and a lot of issues, but the copper mine particularly, I don't know what they mine copper and they mine silver there. And it's a huge. They basically is over 3 miles wide.
Well, since we're on the topic, I don't know. Let's talk about energy for a second. What would be the best way to produce energy cheaply other than burning something? Like, honestly, I mean, we could talk about etherics, right? Etheric technology that's speculative, but like, what is the cheapest, easiest way to transport energy, right? Like, just anywhere. I mean, coal is one of them for sure. You transport it really easy, burns it, it survives the weather. Like, what other type of energy could you use? And I don't know. I've been looking up gasifiers. You guys ever looked up gasifiers before? That shit's cool. That shit's really cool. It's basically pyrolysis. I think that's what it's called, where it's like they burn the smoke. Where it's like these series of like valves that get so hot that like first they have like a series of things that burn, right, and then they burn the smoke because it gets so hot.
Yep, I've seen a few people run their vehicle on it. Bigger trucks, you can throw a burner on the back and put the exhaust right in to your manifold.
Yeah. What do you think about it, Stone? Since you probably know more about it, because like I've been trying to find practical ways to industrialize.
It is definitely a defiant act taking the power away from petroleum, in a manner of speaking. Although you got to lube the rest of your vehicle anyways, you're going to need them for something. But and the tires, But well, it's if you look at it as an ecologist, it's an environmental nightmare because you are burning wood on the back of your truck as you go down the street. If you can picture that replicated 20 million times in an area, what kind of air quality you would have. But yeah,
but does the smoke get burned?
Well, yes and no. Do you know what a catalytic converter does?
Not really, off the top of my head.
Okay, well, it's kind of a reburner too. It's a marketing scam because years ago they took samples of particulate levels in lung tissue, in the 50s, 60s, whatever, and before its advent, and they were really easy to find, big chunks in the lung causing lots of problems. Well, the catalytic converter comes along and solves that problem. How? Well, we just heat up that exhaust coming out of the manifold even hotter, and it breaks those big chunks down into something you can barely detect. They didn't go away. They just got smaller. And those are still found in the same saturations in lung tissue decade to decade. It's just that the air looks nicer. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow.
That is pretty wild.
Scam.
It's one of those.
Sick. That's so cool. They solved the problem, but still poisoned everyone. Shout out to the boys.
It's just
dude.
more pleasant. It's just easier to take. Yeah. You can breathe it in nice. Oh, that smells.
And you can even feel good about
you're
it.
Still fucking dying from it.
Damn.
That is pretty
they
wild.
Always get us.
There's an ongoing theory that as far as cheap energy is that we already are using some form of that. The nuclear, quote unquote, nuclear reactors that you think are happening in power plants are not really that. It's some type of recycling of steam or whatever have you. Don't quote me on that, but that's what's really happening. And they have to say it's nuclear because they have to keep the lie of nuclear energy.
Well, I think it's heat from decay. I don't have a problem with any of that part of the theory. That's okay. It's the part where it's the deadliest stuff known to man, and a teaspoon of it will kill everybody on a continent, and that kind of thing.
Right, that shit.
That's where I draw the line, man.
Galen Windsor blew my mind with that shit. You guys know who Galen Windsor is? The guy who ate uranium.
He swam in the moat.
Yeah. Just to show people that the Department of Energy's regulatory schemes are fucking retarded, and that it's not this dangerous, and it's basically just a monopoly grab, just a power grab. I'm
It's the same
controlling
thing they
people's
did
energy.
with Mercury. It's the same trick. Same
Right.
deal. You can't have any. You can't have it. It's dangerous. It'll kill you. This little teeny bit. It's bad.
You could
Why'd
be
they take all the
make
mercs,
nuclear
though?
weapons.
Why'd they take all the merc, bro?
So you can't have any, obviously. Why'd they take all the gold?
Oh, no, did they, though?
So, hey, have you guys heard of, I can't remember the dude's name, but it basically had to do with water pressure and perpetual motion. Apparently Tesla got one of his ideas from this guy, but I was just trying to find the video, but I'm driving, so it's not exactly easy to find. But there was a scientist who, you know how like when you turn your sink on and if you're in an old house, the pipe makes a vibration. Like he was basically using that, and when you put them in sync with each other, it will make perpetual motion and energy. And there's a machine that they still haven't quite figured out how the whole thing works, but it uses just water pressure. Do you guys know
Sounds
what
like you're
I'm
talking
talking
about Victor Schauberger, Frank.
It might have been, but it seemed like it was a much more American name than that. It was right around the time of Tesla, but and one thing that I had heard, and I'm trying to find the video if I can find it. They basically say that that's where Tesla got the idea from, but I'm not really sure. If I can find it, I'll see if I can send it. But have you guys heard of anything like that?
No.
All right, I'll see what I can find, and yeah.
What about lead paint? Hey, testing. Can you guys hear me?
Madam
what up,
Ambassador.
Lily?
Yep.
Good to have
Sounds
you.
pretty good to me.
This is my first time. Yay. Yeah, no, I was just gonna
Welcome.
say, did you guys hear about how lead paint was removed? Lead was removed out of paint because the lead paint actually protects houses from like the internet, whatever the microwaves from internet.
EMF in general, I'm sure.
Yeah, I have heard that that theory, that thought process, and it makes some sense to me.
Does this mean we get to have Liliana on Discord like whenever, like random times, at all time? We could just like be chilling, and she could just
Hot and cold running lately, Hannah?
we could just be chiming in. Like this is pretty great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
Discord's way better.
I feel like I have all these boyfriends I can flirt with. I'm so glad that this movement is mostly guys.
I mean, if you're on a platform and you can't give your friends a full 200 slide deck presentation with full visuals at 1080p, like you guys even really friends?
Well, yeah, then what is the point?
Oh, that's what we do here. If Twitter had screen share, we'd be fine.
Sorry, I'm not as witty and knowledgeable as you guys. You guys are all my teachers, so I have utmost respect for you. In India, we were always taught to have a lot of reverence for our teachers because it creates a really good energy field, like a really good energy exchange. And so then as a student, you learn more and the teacher gives more because that really beautiful exchange of reverence and love and gratitude happens. So you guys are all my teachers. The lads
Isn't
here.
she positively disarming?
Right? imagine trying to yell
I
at her
know,
or something.
right?
Appreciate that, but you ain't gonna learn shit from me. Trust and believe. I'm just kidding.
Trust Peter, bro.
Don't
Well,
trust
so
me.
far I'm just talking about Alan, Shane, Stone, Mr. Xavier, Toby. These are my teachers here.
Yeah, they teach me something every day.
Yeah, you can add Biasticles to the list. He's
I
someone.
learned
who-
everything I know from Osco.
I would say a lot of people around here are worth listening very carefully and closely to.
Especially those who don't speak often, Osco. Whenever you're ready for your great wisdom. Remember, it's been a while.
What's up, dudes? What are we doing in here?
we're
Challenge throne.
we're gaslighting Osco's soul today. You want to join us?
Everyone knows I'm the worst flat earther ever.
He says it all the time.
Guys, I'm sure it's really deep. He actually means something really deep by
Oh,
that.
yeah. You didn't understand the quote, all right? It wasn't in the context that it was meant for.
So ahead of your time, bro. Much love. Figure out what you meant later on that deep shit.
We'll write some math that'll substantiate it after the fact, and then we'll use retro causality to pretend we meant that the whole time.
Yeah, dude. I'm the flat earth shaman. You don't actually need math. You just need to overthink stuff.
Honestly, all the people that hang out here, Liliana, are our friends and people of the same similar mind with goals and motivations, right? People honestly looking for the truth. That's what you'll find here. And people who aren't, Alan gives them the big old boot and everyone pretends like it didn't happen. We're like, who? Who was there? Nah, never seen him. Never made it over here, bro. I don't know what to tell you.
Never met him.
Welcome to Discord, Liliana. Welcome.
Yeah, Beast, I don't know if you heard, but Liliana is the Madam Ambassador of Flat Earth.
I hear her all the
She was-
time on Flat Earth Fridays. She's great.
She was voted in and appointed simultaneously.
Crazy.
Yep, that's how positions are awarded.
Yeah,
It's a
well, I think
meritocracy. up in
well,
here.
it's a democracy, except that like 7 or 8 of us have like 600 votes each, and no one else has any votes.
And then we call it a
Pretty-
meritocracy because we always vote for the people
Pretty fair.
deserving. So yeah, I mean it works out.
We do this big charade where we have somebody run against Lily. They're like, I promise to do X, Y, whatever the fuck we say. And then we just give it to Lily.
Meanwhile, we're like, hey, Lily, what color do you want the walls in the Oval Office?
What, rigged elections? Oh man.
So I'm not saying
yeah,
Liliana's opponent is a liar, but she doesn't lie. I know that. I can certify it. So
Yeah, are you guys familiar with mail-in ballots? Don't even do that.
Have
Just
you
make
heard
it
of
all up entirely.
COVID-19?
Did you say female in ballots? What did you say?
Female ballots. Yeah. Well, I'm just so honored that you guys invited me. I hope that I can bring some good energy.
I'm happy you made it. Did someone help you here, or did you do it like, oh, did you just magic yourself over here, or what happened? You click a link and poof?
Yeah, Alan is so patient and so kind to me
Nice.
all the time. God bless you, Alan. He sent me a link, and it was a one-click link. Because if it's anything more than a one-click link, it's kind of too complicated for me. So yeah, I'm just still learning how to use this Discord. It's not as it's so different the format from X, Twitter, that it takes me a while. I don't know. I don't know how to ride a bicycle, and I'm really bad with technology. I think those two parts of my brain are like somehow missing or something.
Well, just press all the buttons and see what everything does, and you'll be all comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise I was a straight A student in school. I actually really enjoyed learning.
Nice. Yeah,
Nice.
Discord's very different from Twitter. There's a lot of links you'll see like in the server. I don't know if you see, there'll be like hashtags. You can actually click those. Those are like useful links, like different categories, etc. And people post all different types of information in there depending on the category. There's tons of servers like that around, so it's really good for finding information pretty quickly.
And for
As well.
reaching people fast too.
Should we introduce Lily to like geos and other Discord servers, or do we want to just keep her for ourselves?
They can.
Oh, dude! Imagine you
slow.
could harness. Imagine you could harness the purity of JT and not share it with anyone.
That's what I'm thinking. Like we just
like, why would like no.
So this
While
is the
you
only.
suckers are talking about all that stuff, I'm looking up tandem bikes so I can be seen with riding around with Liliana on the back.
Tandem bikes.
Taking the ambassador around town.
I can barely handle you guys. I don't know if I can handle any more. I think this is it for me.
Yep.
But it's just us, just our kind, right? There's no opposition. There's no people who are going to drain you and bring down your energy. It's just good, positive energy. It's crazy, right? It's like, why would you want that?
Except
See, one of the
Ruby.
coolest things, I wanted to turn on my computer, but one of the coolest things you could do in Discord, which if Twitter figures out a way to do, screen share in real time. You can screen share like entire screens, PDFs, whatever it is that you want to like present. See, just like that. You can screen share. You can click watch stream. Like I'm on my phone right now. You can just see what Shane is doing on his screen.
We can see how McToon responds to
taunting
Twitter
Toon, for example. Yes.
I was going to say, it looks like you had a nice interaction with Toon earlier. What happened there?
Yeah,
Lots of crying.
Our boy Death reposted the Eclipse video and then was like, McToon was like, "No, you stole it," and he pretty much took his book and kept clutching it and running around. But then, like,
garbage.
When it comes down to it, I'm like, all I want to do is I want you to show me which one of these pieces of data is exclusive to the globe. Right? Is it the sun azimuth? No. Is it the sun elevation? No. And he's like, it's all of it from the globe.
Hey, Shane, do you think if I took the MC Toon footage with him with the book and put the proper music to it and snuck in some baby polar bears, that I could get you to sympathize with his position that you stole from his book and lied about his book?
If you gaslight my own soul hard enough, Toby, I don't doubt that you can achieve that. Yeah. Like, I feel guilty now. Shit, like that book, you know what? I'll give you back all the math that I stole, that I then used on my own variables with my own equation. Obviously, that's yours. Those results can be yours now.
Oh yeah, gleam it up, baby. Gleam it up.
I love Gleam, dude. Gleam
I was
just...
watching you gleam it there for a bit. You should gleam it some more, I think.
Just like, he takes the people that I wouldn't, like, what's the expression? Piss on fire to put you out or whatever.
Piss on you to put you out if you're on fire, yeah.
And he spends 3 hours babying them, going through the dumbest things hand to hand. And I'm like, dude, power to you.
I think he sees it as like an exercise in like specificity, and he's got to see it as like an exercise. That's the only way I can fathom it.
Well, he does it all over my timeline, and I aggressively heart everything he does. So it's not like,
yeah, that's awesome.
It's not like it's for nothing or no encouragement. I'm like, yeah, get him. I'm that guy all of a sudden.
He likes to gleam it up. What can you say, mate?
It's just like, dude, he doesn't need help. Get out of there, guys. He's got like, who's that Mortal Kombat boss with 8 arms? He's just
Zoro.
It's like you want to help Gleam, but it's like, how do you help a battle tank?
He doesn't need help. I'm just get out of his way. He's fine.
Yeah, it's like I'm not going to help him breach a wall any better. You know,
you just applaud.
Meanwhile, I'm like, bookmark. just keep them all for later.
We got Proud Flurf in the house. What's up? What's up?
Yo, what up, Proud?
Is that Plurf?
What's to go?
Oh, there you are, tacked on the end. How about that? Yeah, very sneaky.
Loud.
Nice. I'm trying to bridge our communities. Discord is by far the better platform, but Twitter has more people, so this is where we're at.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell? Why are you guys coming back, or is this a temporary thing? Or you said screw Twitter.
It's a standoff against Elon.
Just changing things up. I just kind of figured it'd be nice to just chill over here with the homies for a night.
To be honest, we always just hang out in Discord anyway, and like before and after we go on Twitter, we're hanging out here. So it's kind of the same to us. It's like identical.
It's like we cut out the middleman, you could say. Like we have to temporarily stop hanging out here to hang out on Twitter for 2 hours and then come back here.
There he is.
We're like, let's just do that tonight.
I'm gonna meme that right now. Where's Gleam's avatar? I'm gonna put that on the corner. dude soloing like four of the dumbest Globers that I've ever seen too. Like this the bottom of the barrel, and he's just like he's taking them through. I mean, like I was bookmarking his post here. I was like, I'm gonna need that for later. Ooh, didn't think to. Oh, of course you're right. That's a great example. Like everything he says, I'm like, oh, that's so brilliant. My reaction was, oh, you're retarded. Right? It's like I don't want to engage. And he's like, no, let's show you why and how you're retarded.
The most important concepts or whatever, right?
Yeah. If you don't understand
how and the why.
If you don't understand how
you don't know where you went wrong. You can't
you're just gonna keep doing it.
Yeah, so did you guys hear about the ice cube? How they know about the neutrinos coming from certain galaxies?
Did they catch one in a piece of ice?
Yeah, they caught it in a square or a cubic kilometer of 4,200 multi-instrumental sensors deep in the Antarctic ice. And then some random dude that definitely sounds like an agent came out and said that that was actually a directed energy weapon. And he was just a fireman, so he had the keys to everywhere in the whole building. And he knew it was a directed energy weapon. But he wasn't going to name names. He wasn't going to name names. Because, you know, you can come out and talk about how it's a directed energy weapon and, you know, put your face on it, and you're not going to get assassinated for that as long as you don't name names.
Oh, you talking about the guy that went on the show that's sponsored by the CIA?
Yes, I am.
Shout out to Sean Ryan. That show is awesome. Those stories are crazy. But yeah, that's funny. Yeah.
But it is like the thing is actually insane though. The ice cube is nuts.
Yeah. Maybe they finally found a neutrino.
Those sensors are nothing to sneeze at. And I don't know about the whole directed energy weapon thing, but a cubic kilometer in the ice of
and the size of an atom they found within a cubic kilometer or whatever.
Oh, smaller, much smaller.
Yeah, it's way smaller. And they can find one of them, and then they can find
doesn't even have
dimensions,
bro. It's literally the smaller.
Did they find it to the 9th decimal place?
Within a kilometer of solid ice.
Don't you know they found it to the 10th decimal place? Come on
It's
now.
It's gotta be at least 9, or it's not science.
I wouldn't even read it if it was anything less than 9.
Okay, can we just change it to a unit of a bajillionth of what we just were using? Can we do nano degrees for no reason? That'll make it bigger, right? Yeah, let's do that.
With enough money, anything is possible.
You know, the other
Change
thing...
it. Have you met my friend MicroArc?
The other thing that was crazy about Ice Cube was it's like they're talking about how it's the most important, like the biggest scientific experiment in modern history or whatever, and it's such a big deal, and it's gonna change like physics and stuff. And then the dude goes to show the server room, and it's not locked. He just waltzes in to the server room for the biggest experiment in the world. And I'm just like, like any other, even just, there's no reason you wouldn't at least have a lock on the server room door. Really, you would fail every security audit without having at least some kind of biometrics or a smart card, some kind of 2-factor authentication to get into the server room. But he just waltzes in, and I immediately just thought about LIGO and how the one dude at LIGO doesn't even trust the data anymore. He just works there for a paycheck. And
that's weird. I thought you were going to go a whole different direction. To me, I saw it going the direction of Comet Pizza, where the one round that guy fired was in the back, through the office door, and hit him in the hard drive. Oh, what are the odds?
Wait, what?
Is that what happened? Really? I didn't know.
Yeah, did you guys? Sorry I'm late, guys.
Wait, yeah. Whoa.
And all, but I blame Biden tonight because he was an hour late getting onto that fucking stage. But anyways, yeah, you didn't hear about that part? Just a subtle detail.
I was not a truther then, dude. I was not even awake then.
Just a subtle detail lost among many. that just kind of came out and then nobody ever mentioned again.
See, that reminds me of that pesky missile that like looked like a plane that hit the Pentagon right in the budget analyst office. Like,
oh yeah, right at 10 feet high, right with the book open on the side of the building, torn away.
Right in the budget
like,
analyst.
We'll hit. Like, you know how we'll stop America? We'll hit them right in the finance department at the Pentagon. Like, the Muslims knew what they were doing, dog.
It's like that was a plane. It's like
they knew right where to target.
It's like there's a missile-sized hole in the wall right before it hit all the data, and it's like, no, that was a plane. It's like, well, it had no wings, dude. It was a plane. All right, all right.
We'll blow up their IOUs.
Did you guys see the little teeny engine piece that they threw, the rotor piece they threw out in the yard in front of that wreck? It's like, oh, hey, there's a piece of the engines. Those engines had like a diameter of 12 feet.
It's like, look, it's definitely a plane. See that one piece of evidence that we definitely didn't manufacture and put there? It's like, yep, I see it. Well, see?
Such hilarity.
Man, I wasn't even awake during that, though. But yeah.
I ran videotape for that entire day. I caught everything the networks were putting out and had it on VHS by the end of the day. Still have them.
Wait, for 9/11 or the other thing?
For
nice,
9/11.
dude. Can you put them on Telegram?
Oh, I gotta rip them to digital. They're still on VHS as we speak.
Oh, wait a second. Make that a project. Let's do
that. Yeah, got you a project, boy.
Need some help.
You guys should see some of the shit I got in the vault. Hardware too. I mean hardware too. You guys, everybody here is into Back to the Future, right?
Just watched it yesterday.
You got an A-track?
I had a hunch. No, dude, I have one of the actual transistors that are used in the flux capacitor that you see in the vehicle running the high voltage strobing. I have one of the last ones to be made by that company that used to blow the glass and put those bitches together, and they really are 3-stem. They're a legit transistor. Hardcore, physical, high voltage. It's a pretty piece of work.
Damn.
Yeah, does that strike awe? Or what?
I don't know what that is. I'm looking for it now on Google. Back to the Future transistor.
Let me dig up a picture. I got an image or two of it. Let me check them. Let me dig that up. What's that?
Ooh, nice.
I'm much more interested in the VHS for 9/11 footage, so we can get our hands.
Yeah, because this came up, but I don't think that's the transistor you're talking about.
They call it.
Almost positive that's not the movie.
No, he's probably got it. That's it.
So close. No, not really.
What was it? Part of the car, like the hubcaps, or?
It was the thing
you
that
got
made
the
time travel
hubcap.
possible. The flux capacitor, dude.
You got
Like,
the
what was it?
hubcap, the gears, the big chain, the little chain, the belt, the capacitor.
How about Knight Rider
and the
Stone? Have you
transistor.
ever got any Knight Rider stuff?
No such luck.
Dude, 9/11 footage is priceless because dude, if it wasn't for people like you who did that and put it on the internet, we wouldn't have the footage that we have today that debunks it, right? We would all be subject to the memory holding that they have undergone from the digitalization age, right? But they control all the, like, that reporter who like did it live and just like, oh, the building goes down. I mean, wait, did it yet? Is it behind me? Oh, it's still there. Okay, well, it's going down soon, right? Like that never would have been recorded and shit.
Modern day book burning.
Yeah, exactly. The memory hole. So that the only ever past is current, right? We've always been at war with Eurasia, guys. You didn't know that we've always been at war with Eurasia?
Oh, very cool. I see the flux capacitor now. I don't remember that at all in the movie.
Wait, has nobody read 1984 for real?
Yeah, I was about to say it was. I was waiting on Alan, but yeah.
Dude, I just read it like a year ago.
Listen to the audiobook.
That's what I mostly did. I did a mix.
That counts. That counts as reading it, dude. Just so you know, for future. As long as you didn't watch the movie, audiobook counts as reading.
Definitely.
Oh yeah, was the movie any good? I might watch that tonight.
Oh, I don't know. Actually, The
It
book
was
is
all right.
Well,
the book is all right.
whether you condemned it immediately though, like with that confidence, I kind of don't want to watch it now.
Yeah, but I don't know. I didn't watch it, so I condemned
No,
it. From
I know,
ignorance.
but yeah, but the way that you did it, it just like I don't,
Sold. All right, it's
I
done.
would-
Sorry, I
Now
spoiled.
when I think about that movie, I'm like, yeah, Shane didn't give one fuck about it.
Inadvertently
I'll be
poisoned your
honest, I
well
couldn't
all
watch
over.
the whole thing, Alan. I couldn't even finish it, bro. To be honest, the book's
Yeah.
1,000 times better.
And even
Oh,
the
shit.
book even was like a love story, dude. It was like not even a great book. All the like lessons are in the first 80%, first 70%.
Yeah.
So yeah, he puts on an anti-static coat before he goes into the server room, which I would say is a little bit overkill, but there's no lock on the door. So I don't know, maybe kind of interesting priorities there. I guess you're in Antarctica, so you're not worried about it, but it's just not really how you should conduct very expensive experimentation.
What else we got going on? TM, what are you up to? Bashing people on Twitter?
Me?
Man, I just looked up them things, man. It's like cauldrons or caldstroms or I forgot what they're called, but they're like whirlpools. There's a few of them that are pretty popular and pretty big. They're like whirlpools that they never stop, like right in the middle of a body of water or in the middle of the ocean or something. That just a 24-hour day whirlpool, man. Anybody ever heard of that? Cauldrons or something? I thought that was pretty neat, man. Like, where's all that water going? It's food for thought.
Nah, definitely didn't see that, but I'm like, who's the hottie with the red dress and this freaking Brian's voice? That comes. not on
That's my wife, man. That's my wife 11 years ago, man.
bad. That's a compliment anyway.
No, it's
I
Brian.
found and I actually have two of them, two different ratings.
That's the resident trans in the group. That's all.
That's the they them. I got you.
Yeah.
So that's the picture from the movie right there. And there's three of them in there.
Hey, look, the flux capacitor. Now we can go back in time.
Oh, goody, time's a dimension again.
And those are the two that I have. They are a VS2 and a VS4. And you guys want to see the data sheet for that? Of course you do. So here it is.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Dude, these things are sweet looking.
Aren't they? They're just a work of art.
These are
They're
rectifiers?
beautiful.
Ooh.
No, they're more like a transistor. Check out the PDF there.
Like an old ass transistor, right? Like a CR, like a cathode ray tube, kind of like a small one.
It's stoned.
Vacuum switches high voltage.
Get a load of
Like
these
a
millimeter
transistor.
decimal places. Seen that?
Silicon.
Electromagnetically
Min-max.
actuated vacuum switches. Dude, these are awesome.
Aren't they? I salivate when I think of the ways I could use these.
Right.
At some point in the
Mostly,
future.
I immediately think of audio, but yeah.
Graphite tips. You could do some pretty badass Tesla arcing with these bitches.
This is really cool.
You know, let's see. I had the PDF open a second ago. What's the rating?
You go to the moon with that.
Yeah, 22,000 volt ratings on the hold off. And yeah, you can have them closed for up to 20 milliseconds at a time. So as a duty cycle, you can think of it that way, inverted. That's really what that figure is about under maximum contact resistance.
You could take nitric acid right out the air with one of them things, man. That spark gap.
Fucking, there's just no limit you can do these bitches.
I'm pretty
you
sure.
only gotta give them 12 and 24 volts, man.
Well, did you? Yeah. I'm pretty sure Don Pettit has been looking for those so he can go back to the moon.
Fuck that guy. Fuck that guy and his macaroni and cheese. Oh my god. No, I love these things. I bought them from a guy in Sweden years ago. Let's see. I bet those things are dated. Yes, 2013 when I picked those up.
Nice.
In my shop right now. Yes. Drew.
So did you build a flux capacitor?
I don't have enough of them to do that. But you get us some pretty nasty shenanigans with 20,000 volts on the top end when you're switching, bro.
I had some fun, Seth.
Hey, you know how Facebook and Google, like, they're always listening to your conversations, right?
I believe that they trust my privacy.
Except I don't use Facebook and Google products. But we continue.
I'm actually, I find it useful, right? Because I was having a conversation the other day with an individual about the design I have, and I was talking, about how I want to structure and shape it. And I was talking about breaking down a sphere from the 180-degree radius we use, and basically changing it over to a Fibonacci sequence. And lo and behold, the next morning I log on to Facebook and I post a picture. That's the picture that's up on my. I was like, hey, yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's crazy.
Well, good thing you weren't spending your night talking about cat litter boxes, eh?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, no, right. Yeah.
You are the product. Nothing is free.
Yeah.
Siri, turn my lights on. Sorry, what's that?
It's all.
You have to kick. Good.
It all gets stored, is what happens. It's there cached locally or whatever, tied to your account, so it's available to you and tied to your tokenization of your Google ID or Facebook ID or whatever, and it's convenient. And then all of that data that it's using, everything that you are finding convenient from it, goes also to their records, and it doesn't go away anywhere. It all stays, and it gets collected. It all gets stored, and they don't need it right now. They don't have any reason to look at it right now. But if at any reason they wanted to look into you or anything, they just push a little button, and then they run the machine learning, or they take their algorithm or their AI, and they point it at their clusters of all their data about you, and maybe your IP address, and then they can find out, oh, look at all these interests, look at where he lives, look at all the places.
Let's predict how they're going to act under social pressure. Which switch do I need to press to coerce them to do things?
All his DNS record lookups. We can see actually probably a bunch of firewall logs and a whole bunch of stuff. But yeah, they don't need it. They don't need to look at it at all actively. It's all just the AI can do it all retroactively. The important thing is just storing it all, and that's what they do.
A question. So what makes you think they're not using it right now?
Nothing. They are.
I thought somebody was saying they're going to push a button.
They might. Later. They might. They might be using all that surveillance on us.
I think
right
they're
now,
using it all right now.
Transistors.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the storing part is probably a mostly accomplished task. That it's an ongoing thing. But yeah, no, then surely, and that's why they use Ghidra or whatever. They openly contribute to a bunch of data access platforms. So I'm sure they're doing lots of live access to all the data. Yeah, certainly.
Why would they build a platform they can use and make money off of now to build further platforms, or just store the data for later? They're using it actively to make to profit from it, so they can build further profit generating machines.
Well, I don't think he was talking about like a case by case. Like they're not actively using it in a case by case scenario because you're not important, enough to warrant that. Is I think is what he's saying.
No, but they're using the composite data over all of it. They're not leaving it.
Yeah, no, there would be. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, on a general, population scale, yeah, absolutely. They definitely pick up behavioral trends, and then obviously they can influence that. But nobody is taking your individual data and then influence or manipulating you at this point in time.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
What do you base that
it's hard
claim on.
But I don't even know if you'd really have to, is the thing, right? I think it could get to that point. I think currently a lot of the algorithms are kind of disparate and separate from each other, but there are algorithms that are becoming extremely effective because of the AI that is powering them and the machine learning that's powering them. And it's all an attention race. It's all whoever is trying to, running these things is trying to hold our attention, and they're testing everything possible to test all of our different personalities' attention. And for some of us, it seems the most effective way is probably to engage with us and enrage us on social media platforms. And so it doesn't have to be a real person that's talking to us. It just has to be someone to hold our attention. And it could be AI. It could be some paid astroturfer, as far as I'm concerned, because that certainly seems very plausible to me with some of the people I talk to. But yeah, it's just, I think, they almost certainly have multiple programs based around the data that's collected. Now, it doesn't have to necessarily be about you specifically that they're using, right? They just have to know, they're just using the data, quote unquote, to target that particular niche audience. It's just we're just a little number in the niche. So, it's essentially the same thing. Does that make sense?
Do you have data that claims they're not using it for individual use? I'm not
No,
saying
but do you
they
see
are.
what
I
I'm
don't have
saying?
data either way, but
I'm just saying that wouldn't even be the most efficient way to do it. You would target niches. You would start broad, and then you would, as your algorithm got more sophisticated, it would start to, you'd start to fill in all the individual niches where it was, you would find more and more effective niches to find smaller and smaller groups of people and keep them hooked in. It's all about attention, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I guess, yeah, I have no problem with that. I guess you were stating it as a fact. They're not using it. And I was trying to ascertain if that was knowledge or a belief system. Because what I found is if I have a belief system, it limits me. But when I have knowledge, it's easier to change my viewpoint based upon the knowledge. So what I mean by that is like religion. If you believe in faith that something is a certain way, and there's no matter what somebody tells you, you're not going to change that belief unless it's life changing to change the belief. Whereas knowledge, you could have the wrong knowledge and base your facts on knowledge that's incorrect, and it's easier to replace that knowledge with something else. So I always like to understand if somebody's saying, when they're talking in certainties, like they are not doing, which avenue they're approaching it from, just from
Fair
a
enough.
dialogue standpoint.
Fair enough. I wouldn't rule it out.
And I'm not making the assertion they are using it individually. I simply don't know.
Yeah, I guess like I was saying, I just personally, my personal theory would be something. Yeah, it's a belief. Would be that they are. It just would be more effective to just let the machine learning kind of do it on its own. But you're right. I have no idea. Especially if it's, I always say it's conceivable, most easily conceived to me as a spiritual battle. And in that case, who knows what's going on with what I'm trying to be convinced of at any given time.
This is Jason G. a new buddy. What's up, buddy? Welcome.
Yeah, I just saw your invite. I thought it's an interesting conversation. When you bring up the spiritual side of it, that gets really interesting because I always want to know the motivation, right? And so I have a theory that, we live in a spiritual realm, that the carnal realm is uh, reflected by what has actually happened in the spirit realm, right? It's just a production of. And so to do that, what they do is they manipulate the spirit realm through emotion. So the emotional side, when we're emotional, it affects the spirit, and it affects everything around the energy that comes off of us from emotion. And so therefore, by manipulating our emotions, they're actually changing the physical realm because they're manipulating the spirit realm. And they do that a lot of times, in my opinion, from my research, through symbology. So like when you don't know what symbols mean, like like government. You hate the government because they're doing this, that, or the other thing, right? Well, you may or may not know, but you are the government. Everybody that is structured, the representatives of government, people have been convinced to believe are the government. We are the government. We, the people, are. And so the representatives, if we allow them and don't take dominion over them, which is the reason we were created, according to Genesis 1:26. We were created to take dominion over the fish of the sea, the birds of the air, and the beasts of the field, which is land, air, water, which happens to be the jurisdictions of law. And dominion is is control over a specific domain, which are the three domains, the three domains of law. So when we do that, when we don't do that, we say I hate the government. Well, we're actually saying we hate ourselves, and that's where the spiritual battle comes in. At least that's how I look at the world.
So when I keep all my money and I say fuck the government and I file exempt on all of my tax forms, am I actually saying fuck myself?
My understanding is you are the government. So like if you read that we are to take dominion over law, land, air, water, according to Genesis 1:26, and then you read Romans 13 where it says that the people should submit to the government, meaning they should submit to us because they are the representatives. The government, they represent us. They have to follow the will of the people. So when we say that, we're actually saying we hate ourselves, and I believe we're not following through on our authority that was granted us, the reason we were created. That's just my take.
Elia, to actually answer your question, I'd say it's more along the lines of that what you're agreeing tacitly is that you're going to pave your own road, you're going to develop your own school, you're going to put in your own services to yourselves and your community around you, that you're going to bear the burden of organizing and paying for that, as opposed to the group. And you see, that works on the supposition that the government needs your funds at all in order to accomplish those things. So that's really where the argument is. It's that your government isn't printing their own currency. They are borrowing it from the Fed. And they're telling you there's not enough based on that, when the whole paradigm is dysfunctional. It's incorrect.
Right.
So what do you think the government is then? You're saying your government.
Well, frankly, when you ask, don't ask me what government is, because the first thing I'm going to point out mostly to you is the problem with political representation in the beginning of the argument, where you started saying will of the people, that this entire paradigm of political representation is a tragic abandonment of personal sovereignty and personal responsibility and accountability to oneself and community. That, I mean, given that paradigm was created long before the advent of the net and cell phones and social media platforms and other ways to take consensus of the entire electronic world, of which everybody is participating, or rather in which, you know what I'm sure you know what I'm saying there, that it's way beyond time to get rid of political representation and put everything into committee interested level, consensus and referendum.
I agree. I don't think we should get rid of political. Yeah, but I wasn't claiming we should get rid of political representation.
No, you weren't. You were missing the paradigm entirely as the problem. That's what I'm pointing out.
City states is the maximum. The federal. I mean, I used to be a staunch constitutionalist and be like, "We are the people. We are the." In theory, right? The structure is laid out that way, but let's be honest. Practically speaking, that hasn't been that way in probably hundreds of years. It's just not the case anymore. We have a representative government supposedly, but the governments are rigged. The elections are rigged. The electoral college can do whatever it wants. It can select the presidents in opposition for what we picked. So the federal government, as it's laid out, is useless. It's beyond corrupt. The Supreme Court was never part of the Constitution. So yeah, negative rights, which was the bare bones of the Constitution to govern itself, so to speak, is long out the window.
Yeah, the Constitution was written to limit the government, right? So
Correct.
Ooh,
gives us the right.
yo, boys.
You could argue
To
the
overcome
article,
it.
Guys,
article
just found
duration was better. But go ahead now.
just found a constitution. Pizio, what's up? Pizio electricity, are you there?
I see him, but I do not hear him.
Is he even really here?
Yeah. He's in a superposition. I'm measuring him right now so he comes into focus after he collapses.
Yeah, let's think about him real quick. Focus on him. Okay, now he exists. Okay, he's a particle again. Wait. Okay, now he's a wave.
Hey,
again.
you got it. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yes, what's up?
It was bugged out. It wasn't working. What's up, dog?
What's up,
Yo,
dog?
what up?
I heard you
Yeah,
got
y'all
some new
talked about-
discoveries.
About what? Talking about neutrinos?
Yeah, we've Toby found one in an ice cube earlier.
Yeah, man.
Kilometer.
You're talking about the neutrino ice cube detector over in the South Pole?
No, talking about one in his house. A literal cup of ice.
Oh,
With coffee.
I
Ice.
found the
He had a cup
radiation in
of
his ice
iced
cup.
brush tail coffee, and a
There's
neutrino
cardioid
hit it.
effect.
Dude, we should totally sell bottled water and name the name brand Cherenkov.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So,
bro.
Was there a little Cherenkov radiation detected somewhere as a result of a neutrino?
Bro, do you not know that they claim that all of the universe is uniformly filled with an ocean or a sea, as they call it, a sea of neutrinos?
Of unicorn farts.
Yes, I am super aware, and also I was socially shamed one time for not believing in them. This was like, before I knew about ether or anything. This was like some dude just casually flaming me for not believing in neutrinos. A sea of nothingness that is responsible for everything.
I like
they're
that.
also electronically neutral, and they pass right through solid matter with ease.
I like that. I like that they're electronically neutral, and then they can because they're so neutral, they can travel since the beginning of time from the Big Bang all the way till now, and we can deduce everything about the entire universe from one of them. And they can go all that distance, travel all that time, nothing ever stops them. But then those scientists in Ice Cube, they grab them, they nab onto them, they boom, got it, like a little fly, And
there's something special about water, right? It's like water. This magical substance is fine until it hits water. But when it hits water, man, boom! Crazy stuff happens, and
That larger sensor array there is called a gullibility detector.
I like to trust the atheists who see back in time to tell me how long ago their particle left. Those people are notoriously trustworthy, and I get the warm and fuzzies when they start telling me things.
But the Constitution, though, yeah.
What's that?
Do we have to vote for a Moloch or vote for ball skit again? I thought we do it every week, guys.
But did anybody realize that they literally just one for one co-opted the ether and called it a neutrino sea? Was anybody aware of that?
Well, listen, instantaneous action.
Seems to be the case upon cursory investigation of the so-called neutrino. Does nothing, has no charge, can't be detected, has no mass, but it's responsible for everything, and even somehow emits radiation. Where's the cause of Cherenkov radiation? Like, sweet, bro. How'd you do that?
Not ether.
It's like, oh, neutrino. Like,
it's the solution to every current mystery.
Don't forget, it uniformly fills all space in the universe, and it passes through matter.
Yeah, you just can't use it as a background medium or reference point because it's just nothing. Sucks.
Supersize.
It'd be cool.
We
could do a neutrino. Do you think if we made a neutrino interferometer, we could measure Earth's velocity?
Maybe we could get Golub's paper published in some bigger papers if we just crossed off everywhere where it says ether and switched it with neutrino C.
Neutrino web, yeah.
Well, bro, it's well
neutrino C is the gaseous medium responsible for electromagnetic propagation. Golub 2004.
Dude, it's totally well known that Cherenkov radiation regularly surpasses the speed of light as well. But they don't.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they don't
Oh,
say that it
wow.
violates relativity though. Yeah.
It's his own
Wow.
thing, man. Chill.
It just hit me what you're talking about. You're talking about the blue light that you see when they fucking connect the rods in a nuclear pool. That's okay.
There's like a little flash of blue light when a neutrino collides with the nucleus of a water molecule.
Oh, when we power up at a nuclear power plant, the pool turns blue from the blue
Yeah.
light.
Yeah. Well, the blue light is from the water colliding with the neutrinos, they say.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, hey, bro, let there be light. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, nothing comes from everything. Things that aren't connected can act
Yeah.
connected all the time. Don't be crazy.
The
On the first
luminiferous
day,
neutrino.
God made a sea of neutrinos. And then from that, he made water molecules. And then he parted those water molecules with a solid firmament structure, right? Haven't you guys ever read the biblical history or whatever? Show Bible lads?
Dude, what did you say, Brian? The luminiferous neutrina.
Nutrither.
Nutrither,
man. But I just realized, dude, that when it's raining, when it's storming, dude, every now and then two neutrinos collide, dude, and that's where lightning comes from.
The neutrinorous
Two
ether.
neutrinos kiss?
Yeah, neutrinorous ether.
Luminiferous nutrither.
Dude,
I love
if
that,
we
dude.
started calling it the neutrinorous ether, they would probably get so mad. Like if we literally were just like, yeah, bro, that's what the neutrino sea is, dude. It's the ether. Y'all finally found it. Like, tell me that the people on like Twitter wouldn't lose their minds.
That's
Like the
right.
particle.
Dude, look at my lightning meme. Where's Cyrus? Oh, Cyrus is. Yeah, I thought
They
it
get
was
it
him.
more out of
I was having a conversation today with my new physics professor, who is a girl this time, and I explained to her the ideal gas problem and the photons being quantized problem and some other stuff, and was talking about how, she was asking me why don't I go to get my doctorate degree and something if I'm so interested in all this research. And I was like, well, I'll probably get a master's, but I'm not down with the whole PhD thing, because I don't like the paradigm stuff, and I've seen people get their careers wrecked over disagreeing with relativity and things such as that. And she was like, yeah. And she explained to me how funding bias works and how it sucks and stuff. And she was totally on board with how it all sucks and is gain control. Pretty dope, actually.
Dang. Shout out to your girl.
Yeah, sounds based.
Dude, most of the people that I've like talked to at my university about this, I'm like 3 for 3 so far, are like
Dude,
all on
yeah,
board with how like, yeah.
Dude, I feel like that one guy who was a flat earther and started talking to his professors about it went to the wrong school or something. Every time he brought up something that contradicted the mainstream narrative, he got bodied.
You're just overdue to hit a normie.
Well, I don't come out.
Everyone you approach is like, yeah, relativity's full DS.
Yeah.
It's damage control to an extent.
Dude, you know what she said? I asked her if she ever studied relativity, and she's like, yeah, I did study it. I took courses on it and stuff. And I was like, do you believe in it? And she kind of looked at me and she was like, well, I never could really wrap my mind around the idea of time not being constant. I was like, oh yeah, like the whole fabric of the space-time fabric of the universe bending and warping, and that's the reason that your clock gets out of sync, and everything's contracting and shrinking, but you just can't actually measure it or tell. And she kind of like, we kind of like went back and forth, but she's a real one, dude.
Nice, dude. That's awesome.
Telling you, I think the majority of people in university settings that haven't been, I think it's just the nerds that work at like these CERN labs and stuff that are the ones that get super upset and like, dogmatic about their paradigm. I don't think most regular engineers like actually care that much and are humble enough to admit that we don't know everything.
The latter, I've kind of made the argument for the latter for sure before that, like, a lot of the people that actually would be the most interesting to talk to about this stuff are humble enough that they're not looking for these arguments. Like, they're not seeking out these discussions, which is kind of tragic, I guess, really. But But yeah, they're not like it's always the bullheaded people that are popping in and, you know, acting like they actually know for a fact all these things about physics and, you know, outer space, quote unquote. It's like most people are that are actually have high level of intelligence about these particular topics, or high level knowledge about these particular topics, and know how, you know, quickly it becomes very convoluted and confusing. You know, the old saying, you know, the more you learn, the less you realize you know, I think has a lot of truth to it.
You could tell real quick who the free thinkers are, you know, just striking up a conversation right off the bat, because the free thinkers, you know, will hear you out and consider it, you know, and even, you know, they'll take it further in most cases. But the people who just go straight against it, it's like they're a different breed of people, man. Like you said, bullheaded. Like if it ain't in their books, they just, dude, then they won't even consider it. They won't even give it 1 second of consideration.
Have you ever studied Walter Russell? Read some of his work? He was a friend of Tesla's.
I didn't know he was a friend of Tesla. I've heard a lot. I've had my first encounter about like 2 months, a month and a half ago, something like that. And I read just a little bit of it. And some of it was okay, but he's like very esoteric sounding, and I don't like that. Personally.
His theory is that science has got half of it. You know, they have gravity down, but they don't have radiation, and everything is a cycle. And so it's these continuous cycles, which I've seen throughout my life. If you read scripture, which I go a lot on scripture, it never says the end of the world. It always says the time of the end, or the end of the age. It cycles again. Then if you go to like the Fourth Turning Book, which is the researchers that have followed, you know, the 80-year cycles of a lifetime, they found that there's seasons. There's spring, summer, winter, or spring, summer, fall, winter. And we're in a winter season right now, and then it just repeats over and over throughout history. And so the claim is that we'll go till about 2030, and then we're going to have a big reset again with technology, and then go back, you know, to spring and start rebuilding again. It's interesting concepts that I've seen evidence for in my life. And I was praying and meditating probably, I want to say 12 months ago, maybe a little longer. And I just heard, you know, I heard distinctly in my head from the spirit that we're in loops. And I had no idea what that meant. I kept asking people, loops, what does that mean? What does that mean? And then all of a sudden it started to make more sense. But it's interesting.
So you're telling me I have approximately 5.5 years to get my homestead set up and get off the grid before mega war happens? Is that what you're trying to say? And then everything gets destroyed and reset?
No, that was it resets, but it doesn't. So I believe that if we're outside of the system spiritually, we're protected, because we're human, right? We're hue, which is light, and we're manifested. So the closer we are to God, the more we see His image, the more we can manifest in our life. We can only manifest what we're able to based upon an image of ourselves. And so when you read Russell, what he claims is that everything in the carnal world is not real. There is no energy here. It's all projections of what actually is in the spirit world, which I just started reading him, but which kind of falls in line with what I've had for a while. It's starting to make sense now. But I do know the earth is not flat, because I can look at it. It's lumpy. Water's flat, definitely, but the earth is not flat. It's lumpy. You know, and that's just, you know, based upon observation. I do know it's not moving.
There are bullets in the spirit world?
Huh? Bullets? Maybe
yeah, that's
I
something in the material world. You got them in the spirit world there?
It's not a physical realm, so there's nothing physical, in my opinion. But who am I to say? You know, I don't know.
Nothing in the physical world, but is also in the spirit world, then, right?
We use the term topographical plane around here, by the way. We're not saying it's literally flat like a sheet of paper, like there's topography.
No,
right?
I wasn't criticizing what you were saying either. I get it. So don't take my words wrong. So forgive me.
I got you. But we've been strawmanned in all seriousness like that before. Like people literally think that we're saying that the earth is like flat as a pancake everywhere. And it's like, I mean, dude, there's a mountain right there. I can see it. I'm not retarded. Like, I don't sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Hey, just real quick, Jason, what's a Walter Russell book you'd recommend?
He did a
The
lot.
One
Here.
is literally the one, right?
What was the one I just finished? Let me look. I want to give you the exact title.
Let me quickly Google that for you. I'll be right with you.
I'm still learning how
got
to
a
use
bunch
this.
of them.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Madam Ambassador, coming in loud and clear.
Okay, because that mic icon is gone, so I'm all confused. Sorry.
You're good. When your microphone's muted, the little mic icon comes up with a slash through it. And that means if you're talking, nobody can hear you. And then when the mic icon goes away, you can talk and then people will hear you.
Or when you see the mic icon with no slash through it, that means you're speaking.
Oh yeah, that too. TY Stone.
Yeah, and so for me, when you know,
Well, you might help because none of us have a phone interface from which to counsel her on. Dude, she's probably on her phone.
Yeah, hold on. I'm opening up
Brain
my
fart.
Google phone. Anyway.
So while you're doing it, it's the new concept of the universe is the one I just finished, but there's a bunch I've downloaded, but I haven't dug into the others yet.
Cool, thanks, man. Yeah, I've heard the name before, but I have no idea who he is. But what you said is compelling to me, so thanks a lot.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I'm not saying anything I'm saying is of value or right. I'm just exploring ideas to try to figure out what makes sense, what aligns with what I sense in my spirit is kind of what I go by. But then I also look beyond that. There's got to be physical evidence to back it up. When I say physical, I don't necessarily mean it has to be in the carnal. I mean, I've had supernatural things. Like I was just telling a friend of mine to read Ecclesiastes chapter 1, and we actually read it. And then I was teasing him, and then we were talking about the Akashic record. And he said he was going to leave a note in the Akashic record for me, a sticky note. And I joked with him that it better be a big note because the Akashic record is huge. You know, we joked about it for about 30 seconds, right? Made a big deal of it. So then that night he opened his Bible. He hadn't touched it in like a year and a half. He opened his Bible in Ecclesiastes chapter 1. There was a sticky note on it. And he sent me a picture. And I'm getting chills right now just telling you the story. But there's no way things like that can happen just in the carnal physical world. It's
Dude,
wild. And I could tell you
we
stories
need
all
to
day
get
long
you
like
in
that.
front of a campfire quick. Just put you in front of a campfire. You can do that shit all night. That's priceless.
Hey, so Pizzo, you think you got 5 years, bro, to get a homestead set up? I don't. I think you got less than a year before you see a major shift in the way that money flows and what ownership looks like at all.
And again, not to mix, but in my opinion, it's not money. Again, if you read the law, that's why I'm big into understanding the law and being able to hold people accountable. Voting, I do not vote. Voting is not something that is a fruitful exercise. It's to suck you into their delusion, in my opinion. But money itself is either gold or silver. And what you're talking about is called currency or legal tender. And we can create all the legal tender we want personally, as long as we understand the UCC code and we are willing to hold them accountable in court. That's just my opinion, but I'm going through that right now.
Hey, sorry to
Nice, dude.
change
Gio. Your
topic
mic's
of
popping a little
discussion.
bit too. You're good. What's up?
Hello. Sorry. Oh, sorry to change the topic of discussion, but do you know any way to take some things from Shane's Obsidian and to paste them in a way so that I can take notes from it and highlight stuff from it?
Do you
Like
just
the
want?
body, like a PDF.
Do you just want all the
Question.
markdown files? Sir?
Yeah, I want to make some notes.
I mean, I think it would be just as effective to just print to PDF from the actual database.
Yeah, it's because the Notepad files are just like the same syntax as Markdown files. They're just Notepad links with all the same text on it. So,
Okay.
Like, I don't know if you have a tool, like if you have a PDF tool you like to use for annotations, that type of thing. Like, there's a bunch of tools for that. So if you could get it just a PDF format, then
No, that's something I'm trying to look for because I don't have any one of those PDF.
The more popular one is
annotation ones.
PDF Exchange.
Okay, so I will note it because I don't have any app to take notes, and I'm seriously in need of one of those.
I mean,
what was
also
the
we
name?
all use or most of me, Alan, and Shane all use an application called Obsidian for our actual note taking, and that's what Shane publishes his notes directly through the Obsidian service. But the service,
Yeah.
the application itself, you can host the files locally, which is really cool. You don't have to use their service for anything. And it's a pretty solid notes application. Actually, I'm sure Shane could share the Markdown files directly with you if you wanted like your own copy locally. Maybe you could do
Yeah,
something like that.
I have Obsidian, and I'm trying to learn how to use it because it's really
oh
good.
hell yeah!
But like, so like there's two kind of
Welcome.
two different functions. Like Obsidian would be more for like organizing notes, organizing thoughts or whatever. But then if you wanted to like annotate Shane's stuff, yeah, you would I would say probably take Shane's stuff, print it to PDF or something, and then use like a PDF tool to do your highlights and annotations.
And the
Yeah, what
popular
was
one is called
the
PDF. Hey, Greed. The popular one is called PDF Exchange Editor.
Yeah, that was the thing that I was going to ask you. PDF editor, you said.
Yeah, PDF-XCHANGE. PDF Exchange
Yeah.
Editor.
Thank you. And also, do you
Sure
have
thing, man.
any books about perspective geometry? Because I want to analyze what Shane uploaded when it comes to perspective and to things hiding due to perspective, basically, bottom up. And well, I would like to do an analysis, and I tried to find a book from perspective geometry to basically do that analysis, but I couldn't find one, or well, they are old and they are in some pages. Let's see, I have them right here. I had one that was on like a page that compiles all books that basically not many people have access. I don't remember the exact name, but I have I knew that I had it right here. I don't remember why I lost it, but do you have any books? Yeah, this page. It's called, let's see, it's archive.org, which has literal pictures of the pages of the books. Like someone took the book and on each page they took a literal picture or they scan it. So it's kind of hard to read from it. So that's why I wanted to see if you have anything regarding to perspective geometry here, like books or something like that.
No books, but Shane just dropped a list of papers. He dropped the list there and his whole database thing. I could also try and get you like an export from my Zotero, maybe.
Yeah,
and
that
also
would
we
be...
have some on the Ether Cosmology site.
Yeah, sure.
That's actually I actually don't have an extra Ether file share like RAR set up for just optics papers. I have it for many subjects, but not optics. So that's the list of all the papers. But
I can throw what I have onto a Ether Cosmology post real quick.
it was like 'cause I did it for like Etherwind, the GPS, and Sagnac, and all the cool stuff. But
yeah, you still have to read a lot of stuff, and I haven't even started yet.
Well, with Obsidian, you'll be a superhero, and nothing can bring you down. So welcome to the party.
I will try to come from Flutter Friday tomorrow. So if I end up having time to analyze all of the things that you said, we might have a debate. But since I haven't read it yet, but I have the link here, I cannot really debate much about it. But
Oh,
if you were to link all of the all of the things that you would like me to read, I wouldn't mind regarding the topic in question, of course.
Right, the
which would
argument.
be optics perspective and perspective geometry.
Right, and the things that make things disappear bottom up on a flat plane, of course, which we obviously have attributed to Earth curve, even though we know things like Rayleigh's criterion and resolution limits exist, and optics definitely has light attenuation, and light doesn't travel forever, and we've got atmospheric Deccan opacity. But whenever we go to measure things that disappear from the bottom, 100% of that is curvature. We know that for a fact. You with me?
Yeah, I would like to know more about what you
Don't
claim
think he's
in
with
the
you yet, Shane, but he'll get there.
I wanted to know more about what you claimed in the Obsidian about perspective being, hiding things bottom up, respectively, in the first part of the Obsidian. So if you have anything regarding geometry that could explain why precisely the things that are below eye level tend to disappear before the things that are up eye level, because that's something that I couldn't really understand from the Obsidian. But if you have anything regarding that.
Yeah, that whole
sometimes a journey to truth, knowledge, and discovery starts with a path of inquiry on your own, right? And a walk through a curated a curation of the topic doesn't always lead to a perfect knowledge or understanding. So I'm sure they've provided you with a decent amount of information, but I think coming from an inquisitive standpoint, maybe even starting philosophically and then getting into the nuts and bolts of it, might be a better way to fully understand and grasp what's taking place. But that's just me. I mean, my journey on learning about perspective, one of the first things that I started to get into and read was a gentleman by the name of Thomas Reid, who is an English philosopher, and a book called, what was it? An Inquiry into the Human Mind, on something about common sense. Either way, I'll find a link to it and I'll send it to you.
Yeah, I don't want you to spoon feed me all of the files. I just wanted to know the exact files that you use to justify the things that you put in the Obsidian, for example, or that you say, so that I can actually analyze them.
So, Greed, are you asking basically like geometrically explanation for how it works, like the why when you go up an eye level you can see further? Is that what you're asking?
No, I was asking, let's see if I have the Obsidian right here, which was that perspective determines the fact that objects disappear bottom up at a distance, which he relates to also angular resolution. So because angular resolution usually diminishes the size of a thing from all sides, for example, if you have a square, or a cube, you should use a cube in this case, because we live in space, we don't live in a 2D plane, to be specific. But if you take a cube, for example, and you put it further and further and further away, all of its sides will get smaller. So I wanted to see why he claimed that specifically the bottom part of it should be the one to get hidden because of the diminishing angular size with distance.
Yeah, that dude, that whole position is outlined in this video, Angular Resolution in Our World from Life is Short. I know a lot of the memes that I took originally came from there. All the visuals come from there. The whole position is outlined pretty well. with some quantification of bottom up obstruction, how angular convergence from, top and bottom compression, how angles have to compress at the proportionate rate. And of course, if the distance between them is different, then they compress at different rates. And that's how you get bottom up obstruction when you're looking at from the bottom. But if you just want to look at that video, that's pretty much the main source for all the visuals that gets for all the memes that I made with them.
Yeah, well, 3 hours. I will try to look.
Hey, can read 12 books or watch a video, it's up to you.
So agreed. If you want the short and sweet, bro, think of it like this. All right. You look out towards the horizon, right? You're standing above the ground. The sky comes down to the horizon and the ground comes up, right? In order to meet the horizon, which has to travel further, perspective speaking? The sky or the ground?
Well, I wouldn't use the word travel, but
that's why I said perspectively speaking.
Well, but
the sky, right?
Don't really.